When I've got projects that require very low deep sleep current, I have a choice in my mind between the Lolin D32 and the DFRobot Firebeetle version 4. Note, version 4 is the very latest. So here's the current I measure in deep sleep of the Lolin D32 board, 77 microamps. To measure the low current you have to apply certain techniques, I'll show those in a moment. And for the Firebeetle version 4, I'm measuring 8.8 microamps, so that's about the lowest I've seen on the market. I have no connection with DFRobot, by the way. There's the circuit I use to measure 4.2 volts through a DVM to the board into the battery terminals, set the DVM onto microamps, apply power, short out the DVM connections to remove the burden resistor, and then the board starts. Wait for it to go into deep sleep and then remove the short circuit, and then you can measure current pretty reliably. A quick analysis of the board for the ESP32. It's got a CH340 UART consuming about 45 microamps. ESP32 debatable 5.6 microamps in sleep, ME6211 and a TP4054, a total on the data sheet of 80.1 microamps, and I measure 76.9. Some of those values I had to extrapolate because the data sheets often give, in my case here, 5 volts and 10 volts, and so you have to determine what the current would be at 3.3 volts. For the DFRobot Firebeetle, same analysis, it's got the same UART. Note that the UART current is 0. ESP32 is the same, slightly different charge controller, TP4056, and a best-in-class voltage regulator, the RT9080. Total datasheet current of 12.1, I measure 8.8. That's a very neat circuit design whereby the UART is disconnected when there is no 5 volt input, and that's what achieves a very low power consumption. Side-by-side comparison, there you go, and the big difference is that the Firebeetle is a much more rounded, versatile board. It has that very good voltage regulator. It has an onboard real-time clock crystal, 32.768 kilohertz clock, and it takes no power on the UART when there's no 5 volt supply, which is what you want. You just want 3.3 volts from the battery regulated via the RT9080. Excellent. In terms of comparison, they've both got their pros and cons. The W-Room 32 or the W-Room 32D for the Firebeetle, both using the same UART, both really have got a low power design. There's not much to choose from them, but on balance you can see which is the best one to choose there. And 8.8 microamps in deep sleep is a very good result, and you will notice it in your project. I hope you found this technical note interesting and useful.